Alright, in today's video, I'm going to give you the top 5 myths about drag racing. Alright guys, as you can tell from the truck, being no interior, nothing, helmet, all that good stuff. Yesterday I was planning on going to the drag strip. This is a crazy beginning to start this video. I'm gonna tell you what happened. So I'm 3/4 of the way there to the drag strip. Beautiful out, and I look down and I forget my wallet. That started off one hell of a. I was angry, very, very angry. I had to turn around, get my wallet. I was already gonna sit in traffic, so I possibly wasn't even gonna come back. I was very pissed off. And about, I'd say, 5-10 minutes down the road, I get a text on my phone from the drag strip saying that they canceled because of a pop-up thunderstorm that lasted probably 5 minutes. So it sucked. Yeah, that is what happened to me yesterday. So that's why there's no drag racing video for today. The track is opening up tomorrow. I'll be there Sunday morning. It's an all-day test and tune, grudge day, and motorcycle. This list isn't going to be really in any like a 5-to-1. This is just 5 things that you can give it your own list if you want. These are 5 things that I found out from going to the drag strip as often as I do that aren't, you know, it's not as big of a deal for some of the things, and some of the things are. But number 5 on my list is wheels and tires at the drag strip make a huge difference in what people say. Now, in my video where I raced the Pro Charge Silverado, he has 30, I think he had 32 or 33-inch all-terrain tires on, and I had my 28-inch tall with 17 drag pack on. Now, it's not a pure drag pack. It's OEM 17s with some Mickey Thompson ET Street R Biasply and some street tires in the front, some 225s. Now, I got a lot of comments saying, well, you were on lighter wheels and tires. That makes an enormous difference, this and that. And, you know, I commented back on a bunch of other guys. I didn't even bother commenting back. But as often as I've been to the drag strip in my truck, wheels and tires are not that big of a difference. They're really not. And a couple other guys are going to agree with this to an extent. And a couple other guys most people are going to say, no, that does make a big difference. Now, I went from a 30, here's my experience with this. 32-inch tall tires is what I have on here stock as a daily, and they weigh about 74 pounds a piece. My drag setup in the rear are 50 pounds a piece with 17s. And when I go to the drag strip with all 4 of them on, the fronts are a little bit heavier and the rears are a little bit lighter because they're Biasply. So when I go to the drag strip, I usually gain from going from my 20s that are 32 inches tall to 17s to 28 inches tall. I go from 32 to 28, 20s to 17s. I gain on average a 10th. That is it. That's all it really is. And I've gone fully gutted like this on my 20s with the 32-inch tall tires. The most I've ever gained from just wheels and tires over that much of a difference is 2/10. That's all. I gain maybe very little, minimal mile per hour. The 60-foot, depending on if I get good traction in 4-wheel drive, is very minimal. So I'm going to say, yeah, that is one of the biggest myths. Now, some guys have full-on drag packs with full skinnies and stuff like that. And my buddy Stang Mode, who I go to the track with a lot, he runs almost the same time as a full drag pack as he does when he puts his 19s and some regular drag radials on. It's not the biggest difference. So, you know, if you guys have better experience from tires, wheels and tires, drag setup, that's great. Yeah, that's awesome. Let me know in the comments and stuff like that. I'm not denying that you haven't. I'm just saying from my experience, one of the bigger myths is that, you know, wheels and tires are huge, like 4/10 to 3/10. Some guys said half a cent. No, it's not. I've gained 1/10 on average. The biggest I ever done was 2/10. So that is what I have to say about the wheels and tires myth going from tire sizes. All right, on my list, number 4. If you were on street tires, do not do this at the drag strip. Doing huge, massive burnouts on street tires at the drag strip is terrible. It gets all the oil gets into your tires, and you're actually creating more a slipperier surface for your street tire. This is for street tires, sorry, street tires at the drag strip. Now, if you have drag radials or slicks or any kind of stuff like that, yes, you want to do a burnout to heat the tires up. You don't want to overheat the tires, because I've done that before, where you overheat them and you just spin. You're not grabbing traction. You want to do a proper burnout, get into it, and stay where the tires are nice, hot, and sticky. But on street tires, all you want to do, from my best experience, to get the best traction, lower them down a little bit. You don't want to go down to crazy 20 or lower PSI. You want to go about 25 to 28 PSI on street tires, and just spin off. You go around the water box, just spin off the tires, and that's it. Just spin off whatever's on there, because there's the sticky surface. You don't want to heat them up. Just do a little spin. That's it. A little bit. You don't want to heat them up. Maybe get them a little bit warm so they grab. That is it. Don't do massive burnouts. You don't have drag radials or slicks, and they're not getting hot. They're going to get hot, but they're getting oily and stuff like that. So don't do massive burnouts on street tires at the drag strip. It's only going to hurt you. Just try out just going a little spin off the tires, get to the line, and then do whatever launch works proper for you. Everyone launches differently in their own car, because every vehicle is different. You can have a manual, automatic, you know what I mean? So, best experience, don't do massive burnouts with street tires at the drag strip. It's only hurting you. And I've seen this firsthand from a bunch of guys, and they're wondering why they can't get traction. Now, this is number 3 for me. This applies to more trucks or anybody with four-wheel drive. I'm hearing people say four-wheel drive is going to slow you down at the drag strip, at the top end, or even, no, it does not. Absolutely false information, especially in Rams. I don't know if Fords, I doubt it either. In Ram, like boosted F-150, he runs four-wheel drive all the way down the track, and look what he runs. He runs mid to low 10s all day, doesn't change mile an hour or anything. And same as me. If I run four-wheel drive and two-wheel drive, it does nothing. It doesn't change your mile an hour. My top end is exactly the same. The only difference in four-wheel drive is if I'm on, street tires or any tire, you get better traction. And then you just leave it four-wheel drive. You stay straight. Don't turn the wheels on four-wheel drive. Stay straight. You get it. You switch it back over when you get down the, 20 miles an hour or so, whatever's recommended. Then you can, put it back in the two-wheel drive. If you switch, you can switch it over after launch, but it's not going to make a difference. It's not going to give you faster times, better ETs, or, a better mile per hour than staying in four-wheel drive the whole pass. Now, like I said, this mostly applies to trucks. Some SUVs maybe even. Most SUVs are either four-wheel drive all the time, or all-wheel drive, or something like that. But yeah, it's not going to make a difference. Keep it if you're in a truck and you're Ram and you're racing a four-wheel drive, or Ford or Chevy or any four-wheel drive truck, SUV, whatever. Stay in four-wheel drive all the way down the pass. It's not going to change. I've ran this truck so many times, over 200 passes on this truck. I've tested this more than anybody. I've done so many different testings, and I'm just trying to let you guys know my experience from what happens at the drag strip. Stay in four-wheel drive all the way down the track. It's not going to change. You'll be good with that. Number 2 for me. So yeah, number 2 for me for a big myth is Biasply Slicks are slower than drag radials on the top end. Absolutely false. And I want to thank Jay Green, Kyle Tingle, and a couple other guys for telling me saying the same thing, because I was a little unsure when I ordered my Mickey Thompson's, my ET Street R Biasplies over radials. Now, slicks, in my opinion, hook harder. They have more, everyone knows Biasplies have more flex in the sidewall, and they, you can hook harder with slicks. Not saying you can't hook great with drag radials either. I'm just saying slicks, in my opinion, from what I've ran drag radials and slicks hook harder. Now, no, you do not lose mile an hour at all. I was a little worried, because as soon as I posted on Instagram and on here that I was getting ET Street R Biasplies, people were like, oh, get ready to lose mile an hour on the top end. Absolutely false. I have video evidence. I've ran the same mile an hour from the radials to the slicks. I've actually run faster. Most of my passes are faster on slicks and in warmer weather than when I had my drag radials in great negative DA. So yeah, most drag racers at the track, like big, real fast cars, they're not running radials. They're mostly all running Hoosier slicks, Mickey Thompson slicks, and the big boys are running the Goodyear slicks, or like the Promons and the freaking funny cars. They're all running Biasply slicks. Not that they, have drag radials for them cars or anything like that, but there's a reason why slicks they're better. They're more of a drag tire, in my opinion. And I've liked radials too. Radials are great, but when I got my 4000 Circle D stall, radials weren't working for me. I was spinning so bad. And the slicks, when I got the ET Street R Biasply, they hook great. I do have, traction issues every once in a while. Everyone does. The track's not prepped properly. Anybody can have traction issues. But yes, the mile an hour is the same. It stays great. It stays at the same. I usually run high 107, some went to 105, depending on the weather, depending on how the truck's running. But my best mile an hour ever is actually on slicks in a little bit warmer weather than I did with radials. The only difference is I had a converter, which some people said slow you down too. That's false also. But yeah, drag radials and slicks do not, slicks do not slow you down mile an hour wise at all. Absolutely not. And I've ran them down to 12 PSI, which is not best for me, but I have the first time I tried them out. Mile an hour stayed the same. You're not losing any. Number one myth, everybody probably knows this that actually goes racing, but there's guys out there that don't know and they still want to post it on your comments or whatever. When you go to the drag strip and they see your reaction time, say, is a 0.3, 0.4, and then they're going to comment, hey, if you get that reaction time lower, you're going to run fat. No, you're not. That is number one myth. That is, anyone that has never been drag racing knows your reaction time has nothing to do with your ET. Absolutely nothing. Reaction time is just how to get you better at reacting to the light. You could sit there for 5 seconds if you want. A lot of guys do that have, say, big cars with 2 steps and they want to spool the turbo up. They're spooling it up more than enough time. 1, 2, 3 for yellow, 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 green, or even the Pro Tree. You don't have time. So they're sitting there spooling it up. A lot of the diesels do with the track. They're spooling up. It's not going to affect your ET at all. You know what I mean? That's just, are you going to lose the race if it counts as a garage race? Yeah, because you're sitting at the light, but your ET, your time is not going to change. You could sit there for as long as you want, or you can even red light 3 seconds ahead. It's not going to change your ET. Your ET does not change until you brake, until your vehicle starts moving past the braking point, which is, when you get to the track, you can see it. It's usually right at the tree, a little bit before. So that's it. Those are my 5 myths about drag racing that, I feel people don't always get right. They underestimate everything that goes on. And I feel like, I want to give out my opinion on everything about it. And yeah, those are my top 5 myths about drag racing. Leave your comment. If you have another one, let me know, because I was trying to think as much as I could. I know there's more out there. I just couldn't think off the top of my head, and just wanted to make a video for you guys. And I will be racing tomorrow morning at Echo. As you can see, truck is ready. I'm on 17 slicks and ready to rock and roll. So all right, guys, you know what it is. To the next one. Peace.